Hey everybody, happy Friday. It's Heather, the Butterfly Effect, plant-based weight loss. And I need to do a catch-up video because I realized I have not made a video since I got back from New York City. And that was quite the experience. I wanted to tell you about my trip and just about traveling and making this work on the road because it's right about 1 month until I go to Vegas. Vegas is going to be a lot easier for me because at the conference I'm going to, which is the Ultimate Weight Loss Conference, it is going to be 2 meals a day furnished, so really great plant-based UWL meals for lunch and dinner each day. So all I really have to worry about is breakfast, which I often don't necessarily eat. You know, it just depends on when I wake up. So that isn't going to be hard. But so New York City posed a little bit of a challenge, and I want to tell you how I handled that. So we weren't staying in Manhattan. We were staying in Brooklyn. And it was such a cool neighborhood. It was like a Caribbean neighborhood, and our Airbnb host was from Jamaica or Haiti. I'm not really sure. I felt like it might be Jamaica because I have a good friend named Stanley, and he's from Jamaica, and her accent sounded really similar, but what do I know? But anyway, it was such a great Airbnb. We had such a good time. And so that's my first tip, is that if you possibly can, get an Airbnb rather than a hotel when you travel, because we had a full kitchen. We had a nicer kitchen than I have at my house. I should have made some cooking videos. I'm telling you, it was that good of a kitchen. And so that makes a huge difference, right? Like, it saves you a lot of money because you don't feel like you have to eat out all the time, and the food is really expensive in New York. And while it's super easy to eat vegan in New York City, like there's lots of vegan options because it's such a big place, it doesn't necessarily mean that the food that I would get would be anything that I could eat. And so that actually did happen, that it helped a lot that we had the Airbnb, but I still got off track a little bit. And it was mostly because of having so the subway ride was like close to, not quite an hour, but close to that by the time you go up the 1,000,000 stairs and down the 1,000,000 stairs and all the walking. We did a lot of walking, and so we weren't like close to our home. We weren't close to our Airbnb most of the time, and so we packed as much as we could. But then we were going to a lot of Broadway shows and things like that where they don't let you bring in food. So we had to do a little bit of buying. Now, I'm just going to say, some of this was temptation, and some of this was like, I'm a food addict and I was around tempting things and I gave in. There's some of that, because could I have bought like fruit at a fruit stand? Or, I mean, it's harder. It's definitely not as easy in downtown Manhattan, but yeah, I could have gotten fruit. I could have been a fruitarian for the weekend or whatever, but I didn't do that. So the kinds of things I got in trouble with, like, I for sure stayed vegan, but we ate at a few places that were really good. One was called Beyond Sushi, and it was a vegan sushi place. So it was all the different kinds of vegan sushi, really creative combinations. And that was probably pretty good, but I'm sure that there was either sugar in the sauces or oil in the sauces. There was definitely salt in the sauces. So again, did my best, but I don't think I was exactly perfect there. I have no illusions that I was. And the other thing was we ate at a place called the Cinnamon Snail, which is a terrible name for really good food. It was amazing. And it's also in a weird place. It's right next to Penn Station. So you wouldn't think of like a train station having in like a food court having a nice vegan restaurant, because it's kind of, you know, fancier vegan meals, but that's where it is. So anyway, yeah, ate there, and I think I got like a banh mi salad. It was like, banh mi is actually like a Vietnamese sandwich. So it had the tempeh with the banh mi and like the cilantro and everything, but it was a salad. But again, probably wasn't. Yeah. So anyway, I did, all of this is to say that I was not perfect at all, and but it did help. It did help a lot that I got the Airbnb, and then the other thing I did was I had groceries delivered. So we had salads. I still had my salad. I still had my broccoli. I still had my fruit, things like that. And that helped a lot, both to cut down costs and also to, like, we all know it could have been a lot worse, right? So I really recommend that you do that. When I was in New Orleans, I stayed pretty dang clean. I didn't really have the problems that I had in New York City, and it was mainly because we were closer to the Airbnb and we could reliably get to our food at meal times, as opposed to, like, I'm not going to leave Coney Island to go to Brooklyn to like get my food. And we tried packing our food, but again, like, there's just things that you can't take your food into. So it was just more problematic than I had anticipated. And I had that thing that happens to me, whereas you have a couple of bites of off-planned food and it becomes much easier to have more of that, right? So that was my second tip. The first one is get an Airbnb. My second one is have groceries delivered, because it could have been a lot better. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I could have done a lot worse. My third tip is that I should have done some research before I left about, you know, like some better planning of where I could eat and what I could have gotten. One caveat with Airbnbs is that they often will have a lot of food in them. People leave their food, like their non-perishables and things, when they leave. And so guests before you might have left you food, or it's very common for like a host to leave you like a box of cookies or something like that. And so, yeah, that was tempting too, because there were things in the Airbnb that I wished weren't there, right? I don't want to trigger people. So, the last thing I want to talk about is re-entry, because travel is problematic anyway for your brain. Especially my brain always associated travel with trying lots of new foods. From when I was, not on any sort of eating program, that was my time to like binge and explore in the name of not missing out on the local cuisine. And I would really eat all the things, and my brain still associates that. So when I go places and I don't do that because I don't want to, I have that FOMO. I have that fear of missing out. I start to feel kind of sorry for myself, like maybe there's something yummy and I'm not having it, and isn't that ridiculous because I'm never going to be here again and I'm never going to be able to have it. And yeah, so I was fighting that. And I always fight that when I travel. So yeah. So my next thing that I wanted to give you a tip on is what to do when you get back, especially if you weren't perfect on your trip. And that is, so we got home not late, but it felt later because I was, already on East Coast time. So we got back at like 7 p.m., but it felt like 10 p.m. New York time. And so because of that, I was tired already, and I was just traveling and everything. And we walked. Oh my gosh, did we walk? I think I got at least 20,000 steps every day that we were there. Because you just walk and walk and walk and walk, and you take subway. Like, I'm cheap, so we took subways, and it was a great way to go. And it gives you lots of exercise and lots of stairs. I've never done so many stairs in my life, right? Carrying things most of the time. So anyway, when I got back, I woke up really early the next morning. Even for me, woke up like wide awake because, again, like a little bit of the jet lag works for you when you go from East Coast to West Coast. Woke up really wide awake and went to the grocery store. We have like a 24-hour grocery store called Winco, and I went there and got a bunch of salad and broccoli and fruit, and I'm like, I wrote it down. This is what I'm gonna eat. I wrote it down in my accountability journal, and that's what I ate. And I think that's really important because home is my safe place. Home is my place where I have structure, and I don't want to break that, right? Like, I have an association that I stay on track when I'm home, that I have cultivated over a long period of time. So I don't want to mess that up. So it was really important for me to just get right back on track. Does that make sense to you guys? So that's my other tip. And actually, my daughter did something even better. She froze meals. We knew we weren't going to have fresh food because we were, going to be gone. But she froze things ahead of time so that she would have food and she wouldn't have to run to the store that day. And I thought that was brilliant. And why didn't I do that? But I didn't. And so anyway, that's another thing that you can do is just know when you get back, you're going to want to have things, and that is a good idea. As for the trip itself, just like to end on like a little catch you up because I've been gone so long mode. It was really fun. I had an amazing time with my daughter, who's an adult. And like I said, we went to Coney Island, which is like an amusement park and a beach, and on the Atlantic Ocean. It was really beautiful. The weather was great the whole time we were there, except for it was so hot and humid. I am not used to that. I am not used to that humidity, like especially the subway platforms. It was like the seventh circle of you know where. It was super hot, like instantly just like sweating and gross and oppressive heat. Not so bad, out where there was a breeze, but down on the subway platforms was horrible. But Coney Island was super nice, and our Airbnb was super nice. We loved the neighborhood we were in. So we were, like I said, we were in that Caribbean neighborhood right next to an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood. And it was funny. So Saturday morning, we're walking to the subway, and like everything's closed. I'm like, this is weird. It's like 9 in the morning and everything's closed on a Saturday. Everything, like grocery stores, everything. And finally it dawned on me to like read the names of the stores. And yeah, they were all like Moisha's fruit stand and things like that. Like it was an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood, and we saw all the beautiful families going to temple That was so cool. That was like cutest little tiny boys with yarmulkes on, and the men that had their whole, religious outfits on, the black suit, black hat, all that kind of stuff. So that was really neat. I just like, what beautiful families, what beautiful traditions. That's one thing I love about New York City is the diversity. I live in Portland, Oregon, and it's pretty darn Caucasian. We have some Latino people and some Asian people and some small population of African American people, but mostly it's pretty darn homogenous. And so it was really fun, especially like even on the subway and stuff, seeing all the different all the diversity and it just was neat. Just different kinds of clothes, different languages being spoken, different food being eaten, everybody getting along, for the most part, just hanging out together and getting along. So that was really cool. I loved that. We were there as tourists. Our goal was to see as many Broadway shows as possible in the short amount of time that we were there. And then the blackout happened. The stupid blackout happened the day that I had tickets to Hamilton. Hamilton, you guys. Do you know how hard it is to get Hamilton tickets? They were stupid expensive. I had to get them a long time ago. And then there was a blackout. Just that one night. Just in time for me to lose my Hamilton tickets. I mean, well, they got refunded, and it has a happy ending, so I'll end on my happy ending. So we were crushed, because we were, and because I'm not gonna lie, we saw Mean Girls. That was awesome. We saw Stomp. Also cool. Very cool. We saw this funny thing called Drunk Shakespeare that was off Broadway. It was like exactly what it sounds like, drunk people doing Shakespeare. It was really fun. My daughter picked it. Probably not what I would have picked, but she really liked it. She thought it was fun. And so we were supposed to also see Chicago, but that was also the day of the blackout, so we didn't get to see that. So got my Chicago tickets refunded, got my Hamilton tickets refunded, and because, like I said, stupid expensive, guys, like crazy expensive. So I'm like, this is not happening. We're seeing Hamilton because we've always wanted to see it. Like, all my family were theater buffs, right? We all have been in plays. We've all, I was on TV for a brief time when I was a kid. We love shows. We love Broadway. My son too. So since we got the money back, I thought, all right, when is Hamilton coming to Portland again? Because I couldn't get tickets when it came to Portland. I couldn't get them. They sold out too fast. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I can get tickets when it comes to Portland. Not coming to Portland again. So, and then near, like, the only place that was playing is London, which, cool story, bro. I would love to go, but that's not happening, right? Chicago and San Francisco. So San Francisco actually is like an hour flight from Portland, and the flights are really cheap. There's like $59 flights, right? Like one way, but still really cheap. And the tickets to Hamilton and San Francisco are like considerably cheaper. You get what I'm saying here? They're a lot cheaper. They're like $150 cheaper than they were in New York. And so I am going, my daughter is going, my son even gets to go because of how much it cost. And so we're going to fly to San Francisco to see Hamilton and then come home. And it's going to cost the same as the Hamilton tickets in New York. Just the Hamilton tickets, not the plane tickets and all that. So anyway, as Alexander Hamilton would say, I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm not missing out on this. I really want to see it. And so, yeah, we're doing it. In August, we are going to see Hamilton. And it's crazy and wasteful and awesome. It's totally awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So anyway, that is my travel tips. Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting me get you guys all caught up and everything. And I sure love you. I hope you are having a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.